No topic that I talk about on this channel draws more venom than when I speak about LinkedIn. And there's a good reason for it. LinkedIn can be pretty annoying at times. But unfortunately, if you're in the white collar job market, it's kind of a necessity, and there's really not any other tool that does exactly what LinkedIn does. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brian, and I'm the founder of A Life After Layoff, and I'm a career strategist and a corporate recruiter. And I've made it my mission to demystify how hiring works at major corporations. So if you're looking for an insider's perspective on exactly how companies hire and how careers work, you've come to the right place. And if you're tired of employers holding all the cards in the employment arrangement, whether it's job search or navigating your career, then isn't it time you reclaim control? And if you're not sure how to do that, I've created a free 1.5-hour webinar which teaches you exactly how to do that. Keep in mind, it's absolutely free, and if you'd like to get signed up, I will leave a link in the video description below. All right, so getting back to LinkedIn. As a corporate recruiter and a hiring manager, I can speak with some experience that some people are using the platform, let's just say maybe not all that effective a way. So I'm going to encourage you to stop doing certain things that are very common and maybe switch it up and approach it from a different direction. So that's the purpose of today's video. The first thing I would encourage you to stop doing on the LinkedIn platform is to stop not being there. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who refuse to be on LinkedIn for a variety of reasons, and frankly, I don't really blame them. LinkedIn has become a virtual cesspit of people virtue signaling, writing content that's all generated by AI. Not to mention, there's some people out there who treat LinkedIn like a dating market or like a personal Facebook page, and that's a pretty big turnoff for people who just want to come in, do what they need to do, and get off the platform. But the fact of the matter is, this is where recruiters are. And this is where companies do a majority of their hiring. But if you're not on the platform, you're missing out on a major opportunity to be seen and for recruiters to come and find you. And listen, if you set up your profile the right way and you participate in an effective manner, it is much easier to get hired when recruiters come and find you than the other way around. Because if your only strategy of using the LinkedIn platform is to apply for jobs, then you're only using about 5% of where the actual value is. And honestly, to me, the job search feature is the least valuable aspect of LinkedIn. And to that end, if you want to be seen, you have to stop ignoring your profile. The profile is how people find you, and in particular, recruiters and hiring teams. So you have to think of all the wonderful keywords, all the phrases, all the searchable stuff that's on your profile. And I'm thinking those skills are really great. Any of those titles, companies that you work for, industries, etc. Those are the things that recruiters are searching for on the back end of LinkedIn. So if you're not completing your profile in its entirety, then you're likely missing out on opportunities for the right person to find you at the right time. But here's one thing that I can guarantee. If you're not on there and you're not optimizing your profile, you're not going to be discovered for a lot of those positions. So you at least want to be in the game and make sure that you just do the minimum to make sure that your profile is easily searchable. And while you're at it, you may want to update it every so often. LinkedIn apparently rewards people in the back-end search results if you're updating your profile fairly regularly. So if you're somebody that has created a profile 10 years ago, hardly ever logs in, never makes any changes to anything, never adds any content of your own, you're likely to fall deeper in search results than somebody who's on there on a regular basis, making content, changing their profile up a little bit. So, maybe just go in there occasionally and update a setting, update your profile a little bit. Could help with your search results. And if you're somebody that's really annoyed by LinkedIn and you find that it's just really off-putting to scroll through your feed, you can avoid that whole side of it if you just don't go on the feed. Or if you want to go on the feed, curate it. You don't have to follow everybody. In fact, I would recommend that you be very selective with who you do follow and be ruthless in your culling of people who are cluttering up your feed. So if somebody's always posting stuff that's annoying to you, or they're always commenting on somebody else's stuff and you keep on seeing that in your feed, you can ignore them, you can block them, you can remove them as a connection. Trust me, I do that a lot. But I would also encourage you to be selective with who you follow as far as advice, because what you end up doing is following all of these different influencers, myself included, and everybody's giving conflicting information. This person says to do something this way. This person says to do something that way. And it can be very confusing about what's the best way. And oftentimes you start second guessing yourself. So I'd recommend just find a handful of creators that you like on the platform that you know and trust in whatever space you're interested in. Because honestly, I find that LinkedIn can be very much like a junk email box. And if you don't clean it out occasionally and remove some of the clutter, then you're just going to find yourself logging on less and less. Another thing I'd recommend that you stop doing is comparing yourself to everybody else, especially if you're somebody that's deep in a job search and you're not having a lot of luck. It can be very discouraging to see all these people around you seemingly having luck, landing these great job opportunities, while you're sitting there wondering when your turn is going to come. Honestly, that stuff is not great for your mental health, and it's easy to start comparing. Well, why did this person get a job? They don't even look that qualified, and here I can't even get a phone call. You have to keep in mind that each person is on a different point in their pathway. They may have been at their job search for a few months longer, or maybe they got lucky early in their career and were able to leapfrog you, and comparing yourself to them is just going to drive you nuts. The only person I would compare myself to is myself and what my own internal standard is. While you're busy on the platform, whether it's in job search or trying to get ahead in your career, you have to stop being so random and start being more intentional. This is particularly true with the jobs that you apply to and the people that you try networking with. So many people operate on LinkedIn without any sense of strategy. They just spray and pray, and then they wonder why they don't have any positive results. Networking and job search are not things that you just do randomly and hope for the best. Sure, you may luck your way into a job interview here or there, but chances are 99.9% of your networking outreach is going to be completely ignored and you're never going to hear back. It's often because you're targeting the wrong people with the wrong messages at the wrong time. And there is a method to the madness here, but you have to have some strategy. And here's a little hint. Stop asking them for stuff. Stop asking them for time on your calendar. Stop asking them to review your resume. Stop sending them huge emails with your life story and expecting them to read it and respond back. This is especially true if they don't know you, they don't know what your intention is, and they don't know how much of a time waste you could represent to them. Be more intentional and start thinking in terms of what do they get out of the exchange. Because I can speak from a recruiting perspective. There are a lot of people who would reach out to me asking me for interviews, asking me to have a few minutes on their calendar, and I would look at their profiles and they would not be a close fit at all for what I'd be looking for. I knew if I accepted a phone call from them that I would almost certainly be wasting my time, and then I would probably be getting repeated calls or emails from them over the course of the next several months. And listen, most hiring authorities feel the same way, and that's why so many people are reluctant to engage with the general public when they're in a hiring function, because there's usually not a lot of reward and there's considerable risk to it. And speaking of job search, you got to stop spraying and praying. Submitting your resume all over the internet is just not a winning strategy. Yes, there needs to be some volume of activity behind what you're doing, especially in today's job market, but you need to be more intentional because you're likely not going to experience anything positive other than receiving an endless stream of rejection emails. And I don't think anybody likes that in their inbox. My recommendation would be to align your job search with what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish in your career and be more intentional with how you submit applications. And while you're on the platform, and especially if you're on the front side of it where you can see the feed, it's tempting to just be a lurker. It's tempting to just be a fly on the wall observing everybody around you. But very few people actually contribute in any meaningful manner. So my suggestion would be to start being intentional with your engagement strategy. And as you start to speak up, you can actually build up a little bit of a personal brand on the platform and get people to actually know who you are. And I know that there's a considerable number of people who are very adverse to sharing their thoughts on a social media platform. But you have to keep in mind that this is your career marketing. And if you're not marketing your career, you're going to be invisible, and finding a decent job long term is going to be considerably harder. And when I say sharing your opinions and your thoughts, I'm talking about in your job type and in your industry. Stay away from all the other muckaluck that tends to clutter up the feed. And I think we all know what I'm talking about, especially in today's day and age where there's a lot of politically motivated content, religious, all the stuff that you should be staying away from on a public forum in a professional setting. Keep it professional, keep it related to the type of work that you're doing. And if you find that you're getting involved in these types of conversations, go back to the tip where I said curate your feed. Get rid of the people who are dragging you into this stuff. This is your career space. This is your career marketing department. and you got to make sure that you're keeping that button down. And then finally, I would suggest that you stop using LinkedIn Premium. And I know that people are going to say like, hey, wait a minute, I use LinkedIn Premium and it does a good job for me. Now, I'm going to say this with an asterisk. LinkedIn is driving their premium products on just about everybody, and it drives me nuts, especially an unemployed job seeker. But unfortunately, that's just what they're doing. A lot of the things that are most valuable about the platform are locked behind paywalls, but there are some workarounds. So unfortunately, if you're in an active job search, you may need to turn on the LinkedIn Premium feature for the duration of the job search. But after you get your butt in a seat, I would recommend turn the LinkedIn Premium off. It's generally not worth it for the average person who is just working a career. There are certainly other ways that you can network and build your brand effectively while doing it free. And in fact, I don't even have a LinkedIn Premium myself. So those are some of the things that I'd recommend that you stop doing with LinkedIn, and hopefully give you some ideas on things that you should start doing instead. Now, if you have any suggestions yourself that I didn't cover in this video, please leave a comment and let me know. I would love to hear some new tips and tricks that I'm not even thinking of. And if you're somebody that's struggling in your LinkedIn game, especially when it comes to job search and your career, then there are ways that you can approach it with a lot higher degree of targeted precision and effectiveness. And I actually teach that in my course, Unlocking LinkedIn. Unlocking LinkedIn breaks down how to look for a job and how to use this tool effectively to get noticed by recruiters, and even more importantly, how to potentially skip the recruiter altogether. I take you behind the scenes to show you exactly how recruiters use this platform to find candidates. So if you want to peel back the curtain and really understand the platform from that perspective, check out the course Unlocking LinkedIn. Anyway, I'm on LinkedIn, so if you want to follow me there, I post very frequently as well. You can find my contact information in the video description below. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.